Hey guys, it's Hank from Sprues and Brews, and I'm back today with an unboxing video. We're going to be taking a look at this beautiful little Academy 172 scale TBF-1 Avenger. This is a commission piece I'm doing for somebody on Instagram, and I'm going to do a build series on YouTube, taking you through the whole process. So, haven't done one of these before, super excited to get started, and let's have some fun with it. So pull up a seat, grab a drink, and let's get into it. All right, here's our kit. I always like Academy box art. It's a nice little dramatic image, but I have to say, look where that tower is. Look where this guy's dropping the torpedo. What are you trying to achieve here? A little too close. We've got some nice images on the side of the box here, and oh, look at that silvering. That's some of the worst silvering I've seen on box art before. A little concerned about that, but nothing we can't take in stride, right? We'll figure it out when we get there. No worries. All right, let's crack this thing open. All right, right off the bat, we've got our little make sure everything's here warning. Got to appreciate that. First baggie has 2 sprues in it. This looks like the 2 fuselage halves and the stand that comes with some Academy 172 kits. We've got our clear parts here on 1 clear sprue. And we've got another 2 sprues with the left and right wings, and I think the gear is in there as well. Yep. And our pretty small decal sheet. Not too bad though. And here is the standard Academy black and white instruction manual. We'll check that out at the end. So this first sprue we're going to look at is sprue B. This has the right side, the starboard side of our fuselage here. Some pretty nice recessed panel lines on this. Happy about that for 172 scale. Got our regular big mounting points for the wings and horizontal stabilizer. And here's the base for that stand I mentioned before. These come with some 172 Academy sets. Kind of nice to have. I'm not sure I'll use it or not though. I'll have to check with the client and see if he's interested in the stand. Got a bulkhead brake there over on the left. Looks like another one on the top there. A couple of those for the inside. These are the flaps for the landing gear, it looks like. And I believe here we have the 2 bottoms for the inside of the cockpit. Yep. There's 1 and 2. See if we can get the detail there. Not too much detail, but for 172, when you're inside, you can't see too much. So as long as we've got a nice sturdy base to sit the pilot on, we're okay. Okay, and our next sprue, this should be sprue A. This has the port side of our fuselage, and it looks like we have the horizontal stabilizer as part of the tail there. Nice big flaps. Look at those. Nice detail there as well. Cool. I like this feature. This is interesting because usually there's not too much complexity in the prop assembly at this scale, but look at that. A nice single molded engine cowling there. You can see all the pistons of the radial engine. Very nice. Here's our prop, and here is the top part of that stand. Taking another look at that engine housing. Beautiful little mold on the radial engine there. Impressed with that. Nice job, Academy. All right, moving on to the next 2 sprues. This one is sprue. Let's try and get in focus there. Thinking about it. Sprue D. All right. We found it. And here it looks like we've got the starboard wing. That's the top there. Again, nice detail, recessed panel lines. I like that you can see the seam where these would fold on a real aircraft. That's cool. There's the bottom, opening for the gear. And this, it took me a minute to realize what these were. I was thrown off by the split wheels right down the middle there, but these are the options for if you want to put the landing gear up. So they just sit in those openings in the wings, which is kind of cool. Gives you a little flexibility with the kit. We've got our regular wheels here in the middle as well, in case you want to do the gear down. Some MGs. We've got the MG for the turret there and the Stinger MG. Kind of like on Avengers here, they had a little ventral turret. We'll see that when we look at the clear sprue. Kind of cool. Got the rear landing gear, and here's our pilot figure. Let's try and get him into focus. There he is. Okay. Not a ton of detail, but what can you expect at 172? At least Academy threw him in there. Interesting enough, though, we only get one pilot, one aviator figure, even though this would have had a larger crew. But you know what? Again, we'll take what we can get. Very nice. Thank you. Take another quick look at those recessed panel lines. Beautiful. Those should take a pin wash at the end very nicely. So excited to do weathering on this plane. All right, and here's our last main sprue. This is Sprue C, as you can see there. We've got our port wing. There's the bottom. Same recessed panels we saw before. There's the top. Here we've got our landing gear struts. Not too bad, again, for this scale. Some nice fine sculpts there. Not sure what this round piece is. That's gotta be obviously somewhere inside the fuselage. We'll figure it out. Some more of the gear assembly. Some of the external sensors and stuff. pitot tubes. This is the mount for the prop that lets it spin freely. And here are the two seats. Very nice. All right, let's take a peek at that clear sprue. This should have our canopy and all of our glass pieces, obviously. Actually a pretty loaded sprue, this is great. And this is sprue, it should be E, if we're gonna follow along in alphabetical order here. There it is. Sneaky one, it's kinda hard to see with the glare, but yes, this is sprue E with all of our clear parts. First off, we've got our nice big single piece birdcage canopy there. You can't really expect much more than that at 172 scale. Sometimes you get these split up, but that's all right. We're gonna have to work with it in the closed position, but it's actually got some pretty nice details. I like the breaks between the individual panes of glass. That'll be helpful when I'm trying to mask this off, which is gonna be a project in itself. And what is this? That looks like a clear bulkhead divider there. Really curious why that's in there. All right, so we'll see what happens with that when we get to painting. Here we've got the rear turret. Again, pretty nice detail on this, not too bad. This one's gonna be tricky to mask and paint as well because I have to install it before sealing up the bird, obviously. Got a decent sized seam line running through the middle of there horizontally, but again, that's okay. We'll work around that. Shouldn't be too visible at the end. Here's the glass for that little stinger turret, that ventral turret I talked about before. That's gonna be fun. We've got a couple observation ports here, glass for a couple windows. And then these little guys here should be our landing and takeoff lights. All in all, pretty happy with this clear sprue. Some nice detail here. That birdcage canopy is gonna be quite a project to mask and paint, so that's gonna be fun when we get to that step, but yeah, nice job, Academy. All right, moving on to decals. We've got a pretty simple decal sheet here. We got 4 national insignia. We've got those tail markings, those arrows, one for the wing as well. Aircraft numbering, that 301 there. Some little no step signs. Nothing too crazy as far as stencils are concerned, but all good. Okay, so that's it for actual parts. So let's take a peek at the instruction manual here. We'll go through that and see how the construction process is looking. So we have one big book here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Pretty simple, all right. Academy broke it out into 7 steps, and it looks like to start here, we're gonna do the interior of the cockpit, makes sense. 2 separate fuselage components. Yep, there are those bulkhead dividers we talked about. Our single only pilot for up front. Here we've got, looks like the down gear option. You can see the little marking there to say you have choices down the road. So that's how to build up the landing gear in the down position. Here is our engine assembly with the no glue sign to make sure you can let that prop free spin. Step 4 here is busy as all hell. This might as well just say, put the whole damn plane together. Wow, yep. So on the left here, we've got that stand, like I've mentioned in the beginning there. If you want to make that, you can. Got all of our machine guns. The Stinger machine gun goes in there. Cockpit goes in. A lot of the internal assembly. So this is confusing here. The tail wheel. Looking at the tail wheel, it doesn't have instructions here to not cement the tail wheel, but it looks like it's in the up position. So that's gonna be interesting, because if you remember back to the beginning when we were looking at that box art on the side there, the tail wheel was down. So maybe it's flexible, because there's no instruction here for if you want to build it up or down. So we're gonna have to get creative there. Yeah, if we look over here at step 6, you can see that tail wheel is up, even though the landing gear option is down. So it's gotta be flexible. We'll see when we get to that step. We have the whole turret assembly, pretty simple. That one, again, it's gonna be tricky to mask and install, but we'll figure that out when we get to that step. Step 5 is the wing and tail assembly. Step 6 is dedicated to your landing gear. You have the choice to do up or down. And on the bottom right there, it has the instructions for how to assemble the canopy. Kind of confused here. We have the glue symbol on the top and the do not glue symbol on the bottom. I would assume you're going to want to glue the landing gear in place, so question mark? Okay. Anyway, yeah. So canopy goes on here, those last pitot tubes, and the observation ports on the side. And lastly, down here on the bottom, we've got our painting reference. Just a few colors here. Dark blue, intermediate blue, yellow, white, and black. Simple enough. And we'll just flip this over, make sure we got everything. Yep, just a reference for a couple other kits that Academy makes, including this F6F Hellcat with bombs for some reason. And before we wrap it up today, I'll just take one last look at the guide here. If you want to look at anything up close, we'll just go through all the steps. All right, so that's that. Time to get building. Really excited about this one. Hopefully I can make something nice for the client here. Love a good Navy bird, so this should be really fun. As I mentioned before, we're gonna be doing a build series on this, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit the notifications, and I'll see you for the next video. Cheers.